Hello, my friend. Welcome to tonight's bedtime story. This is Luna. Tonight, I'll be here with you, gently guiding you toward rest. Right now, you don't need to hold anything together anymore. There's nothing left for you to accomplish. Tonight, all you need to do is listen. To be with you during this quiet moment before sleep, to be a gentle voice beside you, is something calm and deeply comforting. Tonight's story is for children, and just as much for the child who still lives within you. This is a story for anyone, no matter how your day has been, whether your mind feels clear or tired, or simply quiet and present. This is a slow-moving world, a place that doesn't rush forward. Here, rest is not laziness, but something completely natural. Before the story truly begins, we'll take just a few gentle moments to let your breathing slow down and allow your body to find a place of safety. So now, if you're ready, let's begin to relax together. Now, let's begin to relax together. I'm going to count down from 10 to 1. As I do, there's no effort required. Simply allow yourself to let go little by little. 10. Feel the support beneath you. Perhaps it's the bed, the sofa, or whatever is holding you tonight. Truly feel that support. Beneath it all is the deeper support of the earth, steady, quiet, and always there. 9. You are safe. Know that tonight. My voice is simply a friend, a gentle companion, guiding you only toward calm and safe places. 8. Now, gently bring awareness to your body. There's nothing to change, just notice. When you're ready, take a slow breath in, and then slowly breathe out. Once more, in and out. 7. With each exhale, allow your body to soften a little more. In your mind, slowly move through your body, noticing anywhere that may still be holding tension or tiredness. 6. Perhaps your feet, your legs, your belly, your chest, your back, or your shoulders. If you'd like, allow them to relax now. 5. The day is done. Whatever has happened today can be set aside for now. There's nothing to revisit, nothing to plan. This moment is only for rest. 4. If thoughts appear, there's no need to resist them. They are simply thoughts. They come and they go. Watch them drift away like leaves on a moonlit river, or clouds moving slowly across the night sky. 3. This is your moment. This is your time. You deserve rest. You deserve peace. 2. There's nowhere you need to be, nothing you need to do, no obligations at all. Simply settle here. 1. Allow your imagination to gently open. In your mind, a safe and quiet world begins to appear. a place that is slow and kind. Now, you're ready to drift into tonight's sleep story. The day is ending now, not with a sudden stop, but with a gradual softening. The sky has already begun to lose its color. Blues turn into deeper shades. Edges blur. Sounds settle. You are still here, but the urgency of the day is no longer holding you. There were conversations, small tasks, moments that asked for your attention, but now they drift away, one by one. You do not need to carry them any further. The streets behind you grow quieter. Shops close their doors. Lights dim inside distant windows. Somewhere far away, a car passes, then another, and then less. You move at your own pace. There is no reason to hurry. The air changes as you approach the harbor. It feels cooler here, more open. A thin layer of mist hangs above the water. It does not move quickly, it simply rests. You breathe in slowly. The scent of salt touches the air. Wood from the docks. A faint trace of seaweed carried gently by the tide. Your shoulders lower without effort. The weight of the day begins to dissolve. Nothing dramatic happened. Nothing needs to be solved tonight. The mind, which was busy before, begins to quiet. Thoughts become wider, less sharp, less demanding. The sound of the sea replaces the hum of the city. Soft waves brush against the harbor wall. Again and again. It is not loud. It does not try to impress you. It simply continues. You walk along the wooden boards of the pier. Each step lands softly. The wood holds your weight without protest. The lighthouse stands at the edge of the water. Its beam turns slowly, steady, measured. Every few seconds, light glides across the surface of the sea. Then darkness returns. Then light again. There is comfort in this rhythm. It does not change. It does not surprise you. It has been doing this long before you arrived, and it will continue long after you fall asleep. You pause for a moment. The town is behind you now. Out here, there is only space, open sky, open water. No notifications, no voices calling your name, only the sound of distant waves. You realize there is nowhere else you need to be. No one is waiting for an answer. No decision has to be made tonight. The beam of light turns once more. It sweeps gently across the pier, across your coat, across your hands. Then it moves on. You feel smaller here, in a gentle way, not lost, not alone, just part of something larger and slower. The wind brushes lightly against your face. It is cool, but not harsh. You take another breath, and this one feels deeper. The day is no longer following you. It stays behind in the streets and rooms you left. Out here, time feels wider. The harbor does not rush. The lighthouse does not rush, and neither do you. You begin to walk again, toward the turning light, toward the quiet building beside it. The Lighthouse Harbor Hotel waits without expectation. It does not demand your story. It does not ask where you have been. It simply stands, warm light glowing behind tall windows, a steady presence at the edge of the sea. And as you move closer, you feel the distance from the day grow wider. You are leaving it gently, step by step, breath by breath. You continue along the pier. The boards beneath your feet feel slightly uneven, worn by years of tide and weather. They do not resist you. They simply support you. The sea moves beside you, dark and patient. Small ripples touch the harbor wall, a soft rhythm, unhurried. The lighthouse beam turns again, this time closer. Its light brushes across the water first, then along the edge of the pier, then across your path. It passes over you without pause, not searching, just moving. Ahead, the shape of the building becomes clearer. The Lighthouse Harbor Hotel stands beside the tower itself, connected but separate. Stone at the base, weathered wood above. Tall windows reflect the slow turning light. There are no crowds here, no voices drifting through the night. The harbor boats are tied securely. Their ropes creak gently as the tide shifts. Metal rings tap softly against wood. The sound is simple, repetitive, comforting. You move closer to the entrance. A small lantern hangs beside the door. Its glow is steady, golden, not bright. It does not compete with the lighthouse. It simply marks the way in. The wind brushes lightly at your coat, cool, clean. It carries the scent of salt and distant kelp. You slow without meaning to. There is something about this place that changes your pace. The door is made of thick wood, grain visible beneath the varnish. You rest your hand on the handle for a moment. It feels solid, cool at first, then warmer beneath your touch. Behind you, the beam of the lighthouse completes another circle, across the sea, across the pier, across your back, then darkness again. You do not feel alone here, not exactly. There is space, yes, but it is a kind space, a space that allows you to be quiet. You open the door gently. The hinges do not squeak. Inside, the air is warmer, not overly warm, just enough. The scent of cedar wood meets you first, soft, dry, grounding. A low fire burns somewhere deeper inside. You can hear it faintly, a small crackle. The sound does not demand attention. It simply exists. You step in and close the door behind you. The wind fades. The sea becomes distant, muted now through walls of stone and timber. The lighthouse beam still moves outside. You can sense it passing beyond the windows. But in here, the light is slower, softer. Your footsteps echo lightly on the wooden floor. There is no rush to greet you, no check-in counter waiting with paperwork. Only a quiet hallway lit by warm lamps and the steady sound of the sea beyond the walls. You remove your gloves slowly, place them in your pocket. You notice your breathing has deepened without effort. The journey from the town feels far away already. Here, the night feels different, contained, held. The lighthouse continues its turning, but inside the hotel, everything remains still. And you realize as you stand there in the warm, quiet air that nothing more is required of you tonight, only to continue inward, one step at a time. You open the door slowly. The hinges move without sound. Inside, the room curves gently with the shape of the tower. There are no sharp corners here, only rounded walls that soften the space. The ceiling arches above you in a quiet dome of timber. Exposed beams cross overhead, dark against the warm lamplight. Each beam carries subtle marks of age, small lines, faint cracks, history pressed into wood. The floor is layered with woven rugs, thick under your boots, muted in color, sand, ash, faded blue. A low bed rests near the far wall, not tall, not elaborate. Its frame is made of pale oak, solid, simple. Linen sheets are folded back carefully. The fabric looks breathable, natural, untouched. A single wool blanket lies at the foot of the bed. Its texture is visible even from where you stand, soft but heavy enough to hold warmth. Beside the bed, a narrow table supports a small lantern. Its flame is enclosed in glass. The light trembles gently, not flickering wildly, just breathing. Across from the bed, a round window faces the harbor, thick glass, slightly uneven at the edges. The lighthouse beam crosses it every few seconds. When it does, the entire room shifts subtly in brightness. Walls glow softly, then settle back into amber shadow. Glow, shadow, glow, shadow. Your eyes begin to follow this rhythm without thinking. The walls are lined halfway up with horizontal wooden slats. Above them, plaster in muted cream tones. No artwork, no decoration that asks to be interpreted, only texture. The air feels warmer here than in the hallway, but not heavy. A small iron stove stands in the corner, its surface matte and dark. Inside, embers glow faintly. The fire is not loud, it does not roar, it only radiates. A low wooden chair rests near the window, its back curved, its seat cushioned with thick fabric. A folded throw rests across one arm. It invites nothing, it simply waits. You step further inside. The door closes behind you with a quiet, final sound. The outside wind disappears almost entirely. Only the distant hush of the sea remains, softened by walls, softened by glass. You remove your coat slowly. The movement feels deliberate, unhurried. You hang it on a simple wooden hook by the door. The wood absorbs the shape of it easily. Your boots leave faint impressions in the rug. You do not rush to correct them. There is no one here to judge disorder. The room holds stillness without effort. The lighthouse beam passes again. It moves across the ceiling beams, across the edge of the bed, across your hands. Then it continues on its endless circle. You notice the absence of mechanical sound, no ventilation hum, no distant traffic, only the slow breathing of fire and far beyond, the sea. The roundness of the space begins to settle into you. There are no corners for thoughts to collect, nothing sharp to hold tension. Your body responds quietly. Breathing deepens, jaw softens, eyes move slower across the room. You walk toward the window, place your palm lightly against the glass. It is cool, not cold. Beyond it, the harbor is nearly invisible, only silhouettes, boat masts like thin lines against the sky, and the turning light, always turning. You let your hand fall back to your side. The room does not feel temporary. It feels steady, as if it would remain exactly the same whether you were here or not. This place does not depend on your presence, and that feels relieving. You are allowed to simply exist inside it. Nothing more, nothing less. The air carries warmth from the stove, cedar from the beams, a faint trace of salt that slipped in with you when you entered. Your shoulders drop a little more. Your breathing grows heavier, slower, and for the first time tonight, your body begins to understand that it does not need to remain alert. You stand in the quiet room for a moment. There is no need to hurry. The air is warm against your skin now. You reach for the small brass latch beside the inner wall. A second door opens gently. Behind it, a bathing space waits. The floor shifts from wood to smooth stone, cool at first beneath your socks. The walls here are curved as well, rounded like the inside of a shell. A deep soaking tub rests near the far wall, stone-lined, wide enough to stretch into without tension. Steam rises softly from the surface of the water. It moves slowly, almost lazily. The scent of mineral salt lingers in the air. Clean, subtle, grounded. A folded cotton robe rests on a wooden bench. Beside it, a thick towel, undisturbed, prepared without ceremony. You remove your boots, one at a time, place them neatly by the wall. Your coat is already hanging behind you. Your sweater follows, then your shirt. Each movement unhurried, nothing rushed. The room remains silent except for the faint movement of water. You dip your hand into the bath. The warmth spreads across your fingers, up your wrist, gentle, not too hot, just enough to invite. You lower yourself slowly into the water. The stone supports your back. Your shoulders sink beneath the surface. Your breath shifts. Inhale, longer now. Exhale, slower. The water holds you without effort. It does not demand movement. It simply surrounds. Steam touches your face lightly, softens the air around you. The lighthouse beam passes beyond the small window high on the wall. Its light refracts faintly through the steam, then fades again. Outside, the wind continues its quiet work, but in here, the sound is distant, muted by stone, muted by water. You feel warmth spreading through your muscles, down your arms, across your chest, through your legs. The tension you carried earlier begins to loosen, not all at once, just gradually, like ice melting in early spring. You lean your head back. The curve of the tub cradles you. There is no pressure here, no expectations, only warmth, only stillness. The water moves slightly when you shift, then settles again. You close your eyes for a moment, not to sleep, just to feel. The heat continues to soften your back, your shoulders, your neck. Breathing becomes steady, even, slow. After some time, you rise from the bath. The air touches your skin differently now, cooler, but not uncomfortable. You wrap the towel around yourself. The fabric absorbs the remaining warmth. Then you reach for the robe, cotton, thick, soft. You slide your arms into its sleeves, tie it loosely at the waist. The simple act feels grounding, a small ritual completed. You step back into the wooden room. The floor feels warmer now. The fire continues its quiet glow. The lighthouse beam turns outside. You move slower than before, not because you must, but because your body has already begun to rest. The night no longer feels external. It feels close, held within these curved walls. You sit for a moment in the chair by the window, robe wrapped around you, hands resting easily in your lap. The sea continues its steady rhythm. The lighthouse continues its turning, and your breathing continues to deepen, without instruction, without effort. Your body understands. It is safe to slow down. You remain seated for a while. The robe rests lightly against your shoulders. Warmth lingers from the bath. The fire in the corner continues its low breathing. You rise slowly and move toward the bed. Each step is softer now. The rugs absorb the sound completely. The lighthouse beam turns again. Its light glides across the round wall, across the ceiling beams, across the edge of the mattress, then fades. You sit at the edge of the bed. The linen beneath your hands feels cool at first, then gradually warmer. You pull back the blanket slightly. Thick wool, heavy enough to settle, not heavy enough to restrict. You lie down slowly. Your head sinks into the pillow. It adjusts beneath you without resistance. The room does not change when you lie down. Nothing shifts dramatically. The fire remains steady. The sea remains steady. The lighthouse remains steady. You draw the blanket over your body, up to your shoulders. Tuck it gently beneath your arms. Your breathing slows further. Inhale, soft. Exhale, longer. The round walls seem to hold the air differently here. Sound does not travel sharply. It moves in curves. The lighthouse beam passes again. A ribbon of pale light crosses the ceiling, then your closed eyelids, then disappears. Darkness returns gently, not heavy, not complete, just enough. The embers release a small crackle, then settles. The embers shift quietly. Heat continues to radiate across the floor, through the rugs, into the air. Your body feels supported, not only by the bed, but by the shape of the room itself. There are no corners, no sharp edges, only curves, only containment. Outside, the sea moves in its endless rhythm. You can barely hear it now, just a soft hush, like breath against glass. The wind touches the stone exterior of the building, but inside, nothing trembles. The structure is steady, old, grounded. The lighthouse beam turns. Again, light, dark, light, dark. You do not need to watch it. Your body already knows the rhythm. The blanket grows warmer. Your hands rest loosely at your sides. Your jaw softens. Your tongue rests naturally. Your eyes remain closed. The space between thoughts widens. There is nothing here to interpret, nothing here to decide. The room asks nothing of you. The night asks nothing of you. You shift slightly beneath the blanket. The fabric moves with you, then stills. Breathing deepens again. Inhale, exhale, slower now. The fire burns lower, but still steady. The lighthouse continues its patient turning across the sea, across the harbor, across the walls of this round room. You feel held, not by anyone, not by words, but by structure, by rhythm, by repetition. The night outside continues. The sea continues. The light continues. And you remain here, safe inside warm timber and stone, wrapped in wool, cradled by curves, breathing slowly. Nothing urgent remains. Nothing unfinished follows you. Only the steady turning light, only the low warmth of embers, only the quiet rise and fall of your chest. The space between breaths grows wider, longer, softer. The lighthouse turns again and again. Outside, the wind continues. It moves along the stone walls of the lighthouse, brushes the glass, circles the tower. You cannot feel it directly, but you sense its presence, a low pressure against the structure, a quiet reminder of the open sea. The air beyond these walls is colder now. Night has deepened. Mist drifts across the harbor. Boat ropes tighten slightly with the shifting tide. A faint creak, then stillness again. The lighthouse beam cuts through the dark air. It travels far across the water. Cold light, clear, unemotional. It does not warm anything it touches. It only reveals, then moves on. Inside, the fire continues to glow, a different kind of light, amber, soft, contained. It does not travel far, it stays close, it warms what is near. The contrast is gentle. Outside, movement. Inside, stillness. Outside, cool air sliding over stone. Inside, warmth resting against wood. The wind presses once more against the glass, a soft vibration, barely noticeable. The room does not respond. The walls remain steady. The ceiling beams do not shift. The fire does not flicker wildly. It simply continues. You feel the warmth beneath the blanket, against your legs, across your chest, around your shoulders. The cold outside has no urgency. It belongs to the open world. It does not enter here. The lighthouse turns again. Light, dark, light, dark. Outside remains wide. Inside remains close. Your body chooses the close space, the contained space, the steady space. The fire softens slightly, embers settling, heat remains. The wind drifts farther along the harbor, less noticeable now, more distant, and you remain where it is warm, where nothing shifts abruptly, where the rhythm does not change, inside, held, still. As you rest beneath the blanket, your awareness loosens slightly. Not thinking, not planning, just drifting. The warmth around you remains steady. The fire continues its quiet breathing. And somewhere within that steady warmth, your mind wanders gently through the building. There is a reading corner downstairs. You see it without effort. A chair curved slightly at the back, fabric worn smooth by time. A woven rug beneath it, thick enough to soften footsteps. A small table beside the armrest, a single book resting there, closed, unopened, its cover plain, no bold lettering, no bright design, just texture. You imagine lowering yourself into the chair, the cushion giving way slowly beneath your weight, the fire nearby radiating a steady heat, not intense, just enough. The lamp above casts a soft circle of light, contained. It does not reach the walls. It does not spill into the hallway, only a small island of glow. You could reach for the book. You could open it, turn one page, then pause. The words would not rush you. They would not build toward anything. They would simply exist. But you do not open it. You simply sit, hands resting loosely, breathing slow. The image grows softer, edges blur. The reading corner remains there, but you drift upward along the spiral staircase. You feel the smooth railing beneath your hand. The steps narrow slightly as they curve, each one solid, each one quiet. You climb slowly, not to reach anything, just to move. The higher you go, the quieter it becomes. The air grows cooler near the top. You reach the observation room, a circular space wrapped in glass. Night surrounds it. The sea stretches in every direction, dark, endless. The lighthouse lantern rotates above. Its mechanism hums gently, a steady mechanical rhythm, not loud, just consistent. The beam sweeps outward, across the horizon, across unseen water. You stand there, still, not searching, not looking for anything specific, just witnessing the quiet vastness. Your breathing matches the turning light, slow, measured, predictable. The space feels open, wide, but not empty. The sea below continues its patient motion. You do not stay long. The image loosens, softens. You are no longer standing, no longer climbing. Your awareness drifts downward once more, toward a smaller room near the entrance of the hotel. A tea room, intimate, contained. A narrow wooden table stands beside a fogged window. 2 chairs, one empty, one imagined beneath you. You sit. The chair is steady. A ceramic cup rests between your palms, warm, almost hot. Steam rises and slow curls. You inhale gently. Herbal scent, chamomile, a trace of mint, something grounding. The harbor outside the window is blurred. Mist coats the glass. Shapes dissolve into gray. There is no need to see clearly. You lift the cup slightly. Take a small sip. Warmth spreads down your throat, into your chest, lower, settling in your stomach like a quiet weight. You place the cup back down. The sound is soft, barely audible. The steam continues for a moment, then fades. The tea room grows dimmer, edges soften. The table becomes less defined. The window becomes only light and shadow. The image dissolves completely. All 3 spaces remain within the building: reading corner, observation tower, tea room. They are steady. They are available. But you do not need to move toward them. You are already resting, already warm, already held. Your awareness returns fully to the round room, to the blanket around your shoulders, to the faint glow of embers, to the rhythm of light and dark across the ceiling. The drifting ends, not abruptly, just gently. Your body remains still. Your breathing remains slow, and the building continues to hold you quietly. You are back in the bed. You have not moved. The blanket remains around you, warm, steady. The room has not changed. The fire is lower now. Embers glow, soft red beneath ash. The lighthouse continues its turning, light, dark, light, dark. You do not follow it anymore. You simply know it is there. Your hands rest loosely, fingers relaxed, uncurled. Your jaw is soft. Your tongue rests naturally. There is no effort in your body now. The mattress supports you evenly. The pillow holds the weight of your head. The round walls keep the space contained. Nothing reaches in. Nothing presses against you. The sea moves somewhere beyond the stone. You barely hear it, just a distant hush. Breathing slows again. Inhale, pause, exhale, longer. Your chest rises gently, falls gently. The air in the room feels still, warm near the blanket, cooler above. The difference is small, barely noticeable. The lighthouse turns, again, and again. You do not count the rhythm. You do not measure time. There is no need. Thoughts arrive more slowly now, and when they do, they pass without weight. Nothing holds, nothing stays. The fire settles lower, a soft shift of embers, then quiet. The blanket grows warmer, heavier, not pressing, just resting. Your legs feel heavy, comfortably heavy. Your arms sink slightly deeper into the mattress. The space between breaths widens, longer pauses, slower air. The night outside continues, but you are no longer part of its movement. You are here, inside, held. The lighthouse turns, light, dark, light, dark, and you drift further inward, further down, further away from the edges of wakefulness. Nothing to listen for, nothing to watch, nothing to anticipate. Only warmth, only rhythm, only breath. You are safe. The night is steady. The sea continues without you. The light continues without you. You do not need to stay awake. You do not need to listen anymore. Everything here is already moving as it should. You are warm. You are held. You are allowed to rest. Nothing is required. Nothing is expected. Nothing is unfinished. The walls remain strong. The fire remains gentle. The lighthouse keeps turning. You do not need to follow it. You can let it turn on its own. Your breathing is slow. Your body is heavy. The room is quiet. The night is wide, and you are safe inside it. You are safe. The night is steady. Nothing is required. You can rest now. Now, the story has gently come to a pause. There's nothing you need to remember and nothing you need to understand. From here, only sound remains. Perhaps it is rain, perhaps distant, natural sounds far away. These sounds do not require your attention, and they do not ask you to follow. They will simply exist, just like the night. If you are still awake, you can simply listen. If you are already asleep, that's perfectly fine. Now, let the sounds continue. From Luna, wishing you a peaceful night.